Hi, my name is Cheryl Walsh, and I was diagnosed with triple positive breast cancer 2 years ago in 2022 when I was 62 years old. I found out I had breast cancer when I went for my yearly mammogram, and they had all been normal before that. So I was a little shocked to find out that I had breast cancer. I met with an oncologist at the local hospital. I didn't much care for her or the plan and decided to get a second opinion. So my husband and I went up to Dana-Farber in Boston, and I'm very glad I did. They had a better plan. I actually went through a study, and I had surgery. I did not have typical chemotherapy. They used a newer drug, but I had a violent reaction to it, so they had to stop that after 2 treatments. And then they switched me over to Herceptin. And because of the triple positive, my treatment was for 13 months. But I'm fine now. Currently, I am what they say is NED, which is no evidence of disease, so no cancer. But however, I am still on medication for another 3 years and 2 months, which are hormone blockers, to make sure it doesn't come back. I'm thankful for the team that I had up at Dana-Farber. They were great. They made me feel pretty confident going through most of it. My oncologist, Dr. Friedman, and also Megan, the nurse that worked with the trial study that I went through, and the great nurse, I'm sorry I don't remember her name, but she was awesome for all my treatments. My support group was very small because unfortunately I went through all my treatment during the pandemic, so everyone had to be very safe. No visitors, we weren't allowed to go anywhere. It was just my husband and I alone in our apartment. He went with me through all the treatments, but there was no reach out, no support. It was just the 2 of us for 13 months, but we got through it. I want to give a special shout out to my husband, Ray Walsh, who was with me every step of the way, even though he was recuperating from his own surgeries. And today is our 34th anniversary, and I'm glad I'm still here to celebrate it with him. Being in the SheRoes program gave me strength and helped me realize that I wasn't alone in this, that a lot of women go through this. There is a collaboration between us now. I've made new friends. They truly get it, what it's like to go through this, so they understand it. And it also helped me to get back some of my mental health with dealing with the stress and the anger. And it's a lot better now. I'm in a better place mentally. So I'm glad I did it. All right. I went to the Flames of Hope event last year in October. And while I was there, I met a woman named Kristen. And they had me do a break a board and try to basically get back your life, that type of thing. And I was upset. And she said, that's trauma. You need to go through the SheRoes program. And I'd never heard of it before. So I looked into it. It seemed to be a lot, but it's well worth the time to put in. I'm so glad I did it, and I'm so glad I met Kristen, because it has made a big difference in my mental health. I highly suggest it. To any woman that has gone through breast cancer treatment with all the bad things that happen, when you're done treatment, there's like no way to open the next door. It's like, okay, I'm done. Now what? They treat you physically, but they don't tell you what to do mentally, and it leaves scars internally. I would highly suggest going through the SheRoes program. Yes, it's months long, but it is highly worth it. I am so much better now on the other end of it. I'm happy I did it. I would highly suggest do it. Put in the work. You're worth it. My name is Cheryl Walsh, and this is my story.
Hi, everybody. I'm sitting here with Cheryl Walsh, who's part of the Gloria Gemma class of 2024. How are you today? Good. We are so happy that you signed up for this program. You and I were just talking a little bit about what it's like to be diagnosed and sit down with your oncology team, and that piece of the puzzle sometimes is left out. I have heard that from so many people where they say they wish that there was a psychologist or psychiatrist sitting in that chair at the same time to say, okay, now besides what you're going to go through physically, here's what you can expect emotionally. And there's going to be stages of that.
Oh, yeah.
Starting with the shock, the disbelief, the anger, the isolation, but you can get out of those, with time. And, but they like you said, a lot of times that part is overlooked.
Yeah, it's when you finish your what they call the active treatment, it's like they just boot you out the door and you feel like you're on your own. And you're like, okay, the treatment's done. Now what? And you don't know how to handle all that.
Yeah, that's exactly why we created this program because there is no one really gives anybody a roadmap for the after the release part.
Right.
And I think that, we hear from women who have been in treatment that they say, as much as it sucks to be in treatment and all the things you endure with the chemo, the radiation, the surgeries, but at least you have a compass at that time because you have a care team pointing you in the direction.
Exactly.
But at some point, you have to come up with your own compass.
Right.
And like you said,
there,
yes.
And then at the end, they're all gone. And
Yeah.
you're left to your own devices.
Yeah. And you said that when you came to the Gloria Gemma Foundation Flames of Hope event, or what was it? Passport to Promise.
Passport.
Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I'm probably messing up the name of what it's called. But that you did that wood breaking thing.
Right.
And I did it too with the karate chop. And you wrote on, what did you write on yours, you said?
I wrote back, get back to normal.
What would normal be to you?
No pain, no fatigue, no memory loss, no brain fog, and no insomnia, which I'm still dealing with all of that, and hot flashes because of the medications I'm still on. And I thought I was going to just bounce back. Like over surgery, I was fine. And then after the chemo and the radiation, I figured, oh, I'll be fine when it stops. But no, it takes a while.
Yeah.
Of several months to a year. And I'm still not 100% normal now because of the medication. But that's something that they didn't tell me.
Mm-hmm. And we've been talking to a few of the ladies obviously today, and it's that statement, oh well, you can embrace your new normal, but embracing your new normal doesn't mean you have to settle for a life of misery.
Right.
But you are stuck in that when you are trying to get out of all these side effects that are out of your control. Are things getting better with time, or
they are. The first medication they put me on was horrible. To the point that I couldn't walk. And I got off that medication. They changed it to something else. There's at least 5 of them that you can try. This one still has side effects, and I take another medication to deal with some of that side effects, like the joint pain. But I'm afraid to try something else for fear it could be worse. So I'm just going to stick this one through until it's done in another 3 years.
So you were diagnosed, and that means 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Okay. So you're in year 2. With the Gloria Gemma Foundation, how has it been helpful to you of finding support, or at least getting a new compass, somewhat, some sort of a compass to get you pointed back to the way you want to be?
I would say the SheRoes program and the ScART was triggering, but it was also a wake-up call to me. Because in my painting, what I put down was everything that cancer had taken away from me. And it was the first time that I had ever sat and literally saw it on paper, what it had done to my life. And it was hard. It was really hard. But it needed to be done to heal. Because one of the things they taught us is if you don't deal, you don't heal. And it was rocky, but I got through it. But one of the biggest benefits is the Pink Sisterhood from other women that have gone through this. They truly get it. It's not like having friends that have never been through it and they go, oh, we feel so bad for you, and oh, you're doing so great. They don't understand how bad it can be. All these people, all these women that I've been with, they do. They've been there. Some of them worse than I have. So they get it.
Yeah, and besides getting it, I know that they truly desire the best for you.
They do. We all have each other's backs.
Like everybody wants to see everybody get to that place of joy and peace, and like feeling like their bodies are healthy and vibrant and you're living your life. I mean, I really see that with each other, and that's what really makes a true sisterhood. It's not just the fact that you guys connect with each other on understanding, it's that you guys are, when they say a rising tide lifts all boats, like
Right.
you guys are that. And I watch it, every single day when you all are encouraging each other or participating in events like this and experiences. Well, I'm so glad you did this. When you wrote your story, I Rise Like the Phoenix, what inspired you to have that be your metaphor?
Well, you'll see in the story, a lot of things had gone wrong leading up to the cancer, which my oncologist told me the huge amount of stress I was under probably led to the cancer. And I didn't believe her, but I looked it up and she was right. They've proven it. Huge amounts of stress, it lowers your immune system. And then that's when cancer can take a hold. So I had been through quite a bit. I'm sorry, the brain fog. I lost track of what are we supposed to be talking about here?
Well, that's just
the Phoenix. The Phoenix. Yes, this is a brain fog moment.
It happens. Well, I just said, what are some of the things you're dealing with? There you go. You just
Yep, in living color. I basically felt like my world had burnt to the ground, and it made me think of a phoenix I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and there was a phoenix in that series, and the bird basically has to burn to ashes, but then he comes back to life. But he has to go through the burning part first, and that's where I felt like my life was. It was burning to the ground. I was out of control, couldn't stop it, couldn't do anything to make it better, and I've now turned it around. It's taken longer than I want, but I'm rebuilding my life. Yeah. And I'm going to keep on going because I'm still here. Yeah. And I still have things to do with my husband. We have plans. We want to go places, see things. So we're going to do as best we can.
Yeah. I like that can be a visual that you imprint in your mind and your heart so that is your guiding, guiding visual, because if you paint a picture of yourself as weak or frail or depressed or there's no end in sight, you will start living out that reality.
You will.
Right?
Yeah. If you think it, you become it.
Yes. Yes.
So I decided I'm going to stand up and I'm going to fight back to get back my life, as much of it as possible that I can get back.
Yes, you are that phoenix. You are the phoenix. Well, I cannot wait to hear it. I've only read everybody's titles because I wanted to hear these for the first time with you reading. Okay. So this is my first time hearing your story and the audience's first time. So here is Cheryl Walsh reading I Rise Like the Phoenix.
I am the eldest of 4 and the only girl. My parents split up when I was 8. Single-parent households were rare in 1968, so we were taunted for our hand-me-down clothes and called the poor family. Grocery shopping was humiliating when my mother paid with food stamps, and other shoppers would openly size up our purchases with contemptuous, judgmental looks. Children have no control of their circumstances, but we experienced mockery, insults, and shame instead of support and understanding. For years, it really sucked. My narcissistic father completely ignored us after he left. We're all disgusted with him. For my own sanity, I now cut toxic people out of my life, but in my father's case, the trash took himself out. Due to his abandonment, I learned early to rely on myself. My mother, our rock, taught us everything needed to be self-sufficient adults, and it's hard for me to ask for any help. My family's breakup caused suffering, but it made me strong and independent. I was diagnosed with cancer in 2022, but I experienced a lot of emotional trauma for 5 years preceding my diagnosis. In 2017, after having run the family farm for 32 plus years and being told it would be ours someday, we were betrayed. One in-law passed away and the other went on an epic spending spree and sold all the properties they owned to finance it. We were just tossed aside like trash. We're in our 60s, our farm was our retirement, and it's gone now because we didn't have it in writing. It cost us thousands to move our home and business to another farm. In 2018, several months later, the new farm's owner said he had dementia and was selling. With nowhere else to go, we sold all our animals and equipment, losing thousands for the second time in a year. During the second move, my husband's spine collapsed. 3 spinal fusion surgeries in less than 4 years have left him permanently disabled. A pulmonary embolism after the second surgery nearly took his life. The pandemic hit during his recovery. In 2022, I was laid off. My unemployment account had been hacked, so I couldn't get any benefits for 3 months. When I thought it couldn't get any worse, it did. 2 weeks later, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Cancer treatment during the pandemic was horrible. I was mentally destroyed, but I had to suck it up, care for my disabled husband, and look for work while dealing with 13 months of cancer treatment. There have been many changes throughout my life, but being told I had breast cancer in 2022 hit me like a brick. I was scared for my life, panicked at what would happen to my husband, and I was angry. I've always been kind to others and charitable. I felt it wasn't fair for me to have to fight for my life after everything else that had happened to us over the previous 5 years. But wait, there's more. The same month I was diagnosed, my sister-in-law was diagnosed with an incurable cancer. She gave a valiant effort, but lost her fight in October of 2023, just as I was finishing my treatment. I didn't feel like celebrating at all, and I felt guilty that I survived. Side effects left me fatigued, but the worst damage was psychological. I finally reached out for help, but it was tough for me. I was in fight or flight mode. I finally met my match with cancer and everything else going on. I felt like my world was burning to the ground, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. My counselor helped me get through it. Cancer took my health, energy, happiness, and my sister-in-law. Simultaneously, I also had 6 friends also fighting cancer. I had nothing but sheer determination that I would survive, care for my husband, and find my happiness again, all while trying to find our new normal. Fighting cancer taught me a few things. Number 1, mental health is critical, and it's important as physical health. My doctors told me the unrelenting stress I endured for 5 years probably caused my cancer. There is no shame in seeing a counselor during stressful times. Second, don't skip screenings. If I had waited a year, I would not have survived. Third, you must care for yourself first before you can take care of others. Fourth, the best laid plans can be derailed by one event. My husband's grandfather advised him when we got engaged to put your wife first and everyone else second. We should have listened better to his advice. As a survivor, I have increased my good deeds, my random acts of kindness, and listening if someone needs to talk. There was a suicide in my family, so I will always listen if someone needs to vent. That simple act could make all the difference. My metaphor is a large, red and gold, rising phoenix rising from the ashes of my previous life. During resurrection, you will emerge as something new from what was destroyed. It's taking longer than I wanted, but my phoenix is definitely making progress. I will rise again.
Okay, well, let's just say you have been through a lot. I mean, I've been working with you guys for a few months, and I didn't have I guess you'd say, the benefit of being in the small groups to hear all these. That's just one of the reasons I want to hear your story. And oh my goodness, I mean, the fact that you can choose a metaphor that's so strong, so powerful, so positive after what you've been through, it really says a lot about your character. I mean, it is really this ember that must have been planted in your past that never went out, that is slowly regaining getting oxygen again so it can burn.
Yeah.
And so where do you think that ember came from?
Um, I would say from my childhood, when my mother and father split up. And I'm not going to go into details, but it was the best thing she could have done was to tell him to leave. And she raised 4 children on her own with just one brother that actually moved back to the United States from Canada to help her out. And she did it all on her own. And she was, like I said, she was our rock. She was very strong. So I learned from a young age watching her, when things are tough, how to deal with it.
Wow, what a great legacy. Do you have children?
No, I suffered a back injury in my 20s, and I was advised never to have children. So there are no children in my family. It's just my husband and I.
So the legacy that you want to leave for others is through your story, through your experiences, through your relationships with community and friends and family who can benefit from this teaching, just like your mom benefited you. She planted that seed and you're planting it now for others, which
Yeah.
is so important.
Yeah. Don't give up. I mean, things, like I said, I thought things couldn't get any worse, and then they did, but I didn't give up. I will continue to
No,
fight
you
as
have
long as I have the breath to do it.
right. I mean, it shows your incredible strength because every single paragraph took my breath away. And in the end, you just put an exclamation point in and said, despite that,
Yeah.
I'm rising.
Yeah. I'm still seeing a counselor, like every 2 weeks. And when I had to write a list of everything that had happened, she wanted to know in the previous 5 years, and that's where I got the idea to do this. And she told me the next time I saw her, when she was reading through the list, she kept saying, "Oh my God, oh my God." And she looked at me and she goes, "You've been through a lot."
Mhm.
And I'm like, "Yeah, cancer was the last straw."
Yeah. This is what I encourage you to do. Next time there's a ScART event, I want you to come back and do it again. So just pay attention to when, Maria and Gloria Gemma offers that because you're going to be able to see growth by putting your painting side by side because it's okay that you got out all the crap, excuse my language. But I would say once a year, even do ScART if possible, because it is really just such like a visual representation with the colors and the shapes and the growth that you have. And I would love to just see what that evolution looks like. If you do it again, make sure that I get a copy of that painting.
Okay, I will. When I first started this, I was not happy, very angry, would cry at the drop of a hat. I was not a happy person at all. And I can see a huge difference in me in just a few months that I've been doing this, in the 8 months. I'm now stronger. Things that used to bother me, I don't care. I'm like, whatever, that's on you, and I'll just keep on going and be me.
Good.
And so I'm getting better. I am definitely getting better, and this helped hugely.
Yeah, there's a couple little one-liners that you had that gave me a little chuckle that I'm like, I think she has like a really funny side that,
Part about the trash taking.
it says a few things. I'm like, oh, she's got a little witty sense of humor, and that is another part of you that can just let that come out.
Yeah, my humor keeps me going, and it's like, and I gotta give that to my mother too, because she was hilarious.
Aw.
She was really funny. She had a warped sense of humor, um, but all of us have a great sense of humor because of her. And it's like, my father had none.
Oh, well, I look at you. I love seeing your smile because I know I've seen some tough times for you just on Zoom and stuff. You can feel it, and you're sitting here. There is a definite lightness about you today.
There is. Yeah, I scared everybody, few meetings back, 'cause my husband, like I said, he's still recuperating from spinal surgery.
Yeah, that's tough.
His surgery, his balance isn't the greatest, and during one of the Zoom meetings, he fell on the floor in the bathroom, and I heard the whole house shook, and I went, "I gotta go," and I ran, and when I came back, I'm like, "Sorry, my husband fell down," and they were like, "Oh my God," and I'm like, "No, he's fine, he's fine."
Oh gosh, life goes on, right? You just like go back to business. Oh my goodness,
Exactly.
girl.
He's okay, nothing's broken,
Okay,
no blood,
good.
new normal.
That's scary. Little heart beating moment. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl, for being part of this. And I can't wait to just continue getting to know you. And next year, when the new group is here, nice to see you here being an alum, putting your arm around them, helping them walk the journey.
Yeah, pass it on.
Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
great meeting Maria,
Yeah.
all of the Pink Sisters, and you. I mean, this has been a very positive experience for
Good.
me.
Keep it going. Keep doing the work.
Definitely.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay.